So you've got your visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory. So I'll put that in brackets, smell. So which one is your preferred style? Okay. See, we're human beings, we're different, and we have a preferred style for different situations. So I've shared previously when I've actually done stuff, the fact of how well do you know your teams? Because when you know your teams really, really well, you will get to know in certain circumstances, most circumstances, sometimes all circumstances, what that team member needs at that particular time. So visual, auditory. So the visual obviously is what we see. Now that's in our foveal vision, but also in our peripheral vision as well. So the foveal is basically what you see right in front of you and what's your focus. And your peripheral is basically what you see on the outskirts. So if you're driving a vehicle, as an example, you will normally, well, hopefully, you will normally be focused on what's in front of you, apart from when you glance to look in the rearview mirror and also your side mirrors. And for some of you, yes, those things do exist, okay? But you're also aware of what else is going on because you use your peripheral vision. So you may well notice someone, and let's say a similar vehicle on the other side of the road going past, similar vehicle to what you've got. You're not glancing to focus at it, you're just noticing it through your peripheral vision. And that's what we do as far as visual cues are concerned. Auditory, obviously it's what we hear. Now, that may well be directly, but maybe you're like I am. Now, if we were having this conversation now, I would be fully present with you. So I'd be focusing on you. However, our ears are fantastic, aren't they? They're a bit like satellite dishes. Okay, and they pick up all sorts of different things. Now, thankfully, I haven't got anything else going on here. But I've been in situations where while I've been focusing on the person that I'm talking to, I can also pick up a little bit of the conversation that may well be over here, as an example. See, auditory is phenomenally powerful when we know how to use it right. Kinesthetic, a wonderful one. And like I say, it's one that tends to get boxed into things that we do. Now, I remember, excuse me, being with an organisation some time ago when I was helping them out with some consultancy work. And they were saying, as far as their training was concerned, because it was a tangible physical item, it's the classic example when it comes to training there is tell, show, try, do, yeah? And as much as tell them how to do it, show them how to do it, get them to try it while you're giving the supervision and you're there just in case they make any mistakes, and then they should become competent enough to actually move forward. And they were firm believers in this, and personally I agree with that. I think that's terrific. And it's something I learned many years ago as well. But it depends on the situation as well, because sometimes when we're asking people to do things, we don't necessarily have something physical for them to do. And that's where the kinesthetic element comes into it when it's expanded. And that's what I mean as far as the emotions and that are concerned as well, and how people feel about certain circumstances. Look, it's very well, I've got my glasses here, kinesthetically, yeah, okay, they're great because I know that I need to pick them up to put them on so I can actually see what I'm doing. So it's easier when you've got a physical item in many ways. But kinesthetic is such a broad element. So when you are working with your teams, if you give them a feel-good factor as well, then kinesthetically, they're more likely to respond because that helps build rapport. Now, hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Olfactory or your sense of smell. Depending on which environment you're in, really, really powerful. Really, really powerful. Now this alone can build rapport like that. Okay? May well sound a bit weird. Let me explain. Have you ever been into another building or whatever, or possibly looking to buy or rent a new property, and there's an aroma of coffee or freshly made bread there or something along those lines. Have you ever had that? See, what normally happens then, our senses will pick that up first, and that's going to trigger things in our mind, okay? Sounds weird, I know. But did you know that when you're first being formed in your mum's stomach, your nose grows before basically virtually anything else. So your sense of smell is one of the first senses that gets used when you're an unborn child. So our sense of smell is so powerful. But going back to the likes of the house or whatever, freshly made bread or coffee, why do people do that? Quite simple. Because they know it's going to impact your mind. Because for most people, not everyone, but for the vast majority of people, boom, the aroma of coffee, freshly made bread gives a good signal. It's a comforting signal. Now, when people feel comfortable, I'll just refer now to the property, okay? When people feel comfortable in a new property, they're more inclined to associate with living there. Weird, isn't it? So an exercise for you, as far as your workplace is concerned, maybe, just maybe, think of things that you can actually have that may well be good triggers that, as far as sensitive smell are concerned, that people will pick up. Okay? And then we've got gustatory. Have I spelled that right? No, I don't think I have. Okay, so forgive me if I haven't. Now, you can change people's state and get an immediate rapport when they're eating. You think about it. Most people eat, well, no, I'll reframe that. Everyone eats out of necessity. As a generalization, most people, including myself recently, I hasten to add, actually eat a bit too much. Yeah, I'm guilty of that, especially recently, like I say. But if you can get someone to change state, let's say you're in a sales meeting as an example, okay? And you've potentially got a big contract. And I don't know, I'll say what you've done, you've taken some donuts with you. Now, realistically, if the people that you are presenting to, if they really like donuts and they're having your, whatever brand, I'm not going to say the brand here, but and they're really enjoying them, then they're already associated with you. Because apart from anything else, most people don't do anything like that. But secondly, it is a case of what you do and you're changing their state, their emotional state, so they're more inclined to be with you on your side. So the chances of you potentially getting that particular signature and deal and contract are greatly enhanced. Okay? But it's also the same in our normal workplace environment as well. But just before I go on to that one, you think about it, if you've been on a date, if you've ever been on a date and you've taken someone out for dinner, then realistically, if they've really enjoyed the meal, okay, then it's going to be a great night, As in, you're going to get on really well. I'm not suggesting anything else. I just mean it's going to be a great night. It's going to be a fun night. But like I said, the same applies in work as well. If you've got something, that's why so many people, when they have meetings, they'll put biscuits or donuts or cakes or whatever in the meetings, because they're trying to, they're not necessarily thinking of this consciously, but what they're doing, they're trying to get people engaged, they're trying to get people to the meeting so they will engage. Then it's all about, the likes of the information, the way it's delivered, etc., etc. But that's for some other time. That's not for this particular training. So with all of those, it's knowing which ones, first of all, are right for you.